Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for another Faithful Friday. What a time to be alive. If you're here, you're blessed, you're well. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, what a week it has been. I mean, most of us were coming off of a break, and that break, last week, that break tried to take me out. I just kept thinking, oh, if I could just live like this forever, life would be grand. However, reality struck on Monday that it was time to get back to minding and tending to the business that pays me. This was a good week, y'all. It really was. If you're like me, you probably had some highs and some lows. However, if you're here, you're blessed to be able to see this message. You made it. You know that God is faithful. It's the disconnect for most. And if you're in the Midwest, we're expecting a pretty good weekend. I'm talking about mild temps in a city that is filled with so much to do. This week for me, I did quite a bit of absorbing. I read about one, two, three, four books daily where I'm taking different nuggets and absorbing these different nuggets to keep myself on the right track. And just absorbing as much as I possibly can is good for my soul. When we tune into good things, it is good for our soul. I learned this week that even when situations and circumstances don't produce the outcome that we expect, we have to refuse to be discouraged. We really do. And we have to refuse to lose hope. We just have to sometimes learn to be flexible. That's what I'm learning to do. To be flexible in my approaches, to be flexible in my expectations, because being flexible helps to keep us sane. I also learned this week that it is very important to spend time in God's Word. It really is. And I'm talking about daily. It offers so much more than a quick fix. Of sometimes what we can get from the world. The Bible doesn't just give us instructions for the day, it plants wisdom in our hearts for the future. Those things that we can hold on to. It keeps me sane. It really does. It gives me hope, and it stops me from really sweating the small stuff. And then, it helps to remind me of my purpose and why I'm really here, what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. Storing scriptures in our heart prepares us for those unpredictable moments. Because they will come. They're going to come out of the middle of nowhere. You're not going to see them coming in unforeseeable circumstances. That's called life. This week, I was so all over the place, y'all, that I ended up paying a bill twice. And where I would have previously lost it, I just thank God because obviously he had plans for me to get ahead. And that was me looking at the bright side of things, that it was a blessing to be able to have it and be able to pay that bill twice. And I thought about, reaching out and telling them, hey, I need that money back. And the more and more I thought about it, God said, just let that thing roll forward. And that's what I did. I learned that the more we apply God's teaching to our lives, the more that it becomes a part of us. I know earlier today I was getting dressed for the day, and I seen the mailman. He pulled right into the driveway, and I said, okay, who did ordered something that it requires for the mailman to have to get out of his truck and bring it to the door? And I was talking with my daughter, and we just started laughing about it, because when I looked out to the mailbox, there was mail in there as well. And sometimes you guys have heard about those mailbox blessings. And she said, sometimes our blessings can be so big that they just don't fit. And what he had for us on today, it was so big that it just didn't even fit. So he had to bring it to the door. So I just pray, even in the spiritual, that the blessings will be so big that they will overflow and they won't even have room to fit. I had found that on days that I did not feel like opening up God's word those were the days that I needed God the most. And so on those days when I have to really press and be reminded that it is necessary, I make sure that I do so. If 2024 has left me or taught me nothing else, it has taught me to accept what I cannot control and focus my energy on those things that I can. And I say that because there's always something going on. There's always something to distract us. And we really want to spend time focusing our energy on those things that we can control. Those things that I can control, I cannot control. Those are external events. And external events will challenge your self-confidence. They really will. And Lord knows who needs that. We got enough challenges as is. And then on top of that, external events are unpredictable. We can't predict the weather. We can't predict tragedy. We can't predict loss. Only thing we can do is prepare ourselves and try to keep be positive about the changes that are taking place in our life. We should never really rely on external events to make us happy anyway. We are not to think as the world does. We should learn to think as God does, and according to his word. The world is constantly, teaching us that our acceptance is based on our performance. We will be rejected if we don't learn to please people, because we've talked about that, pleasing people, and that itself can be draining. The world teaches us that we're only loved if we merit being loved, and it also teaches us that nothing is free and that we must compete with others to be first. What others think of us is not nearly as important as to what we think about ourselves. We do not have to believe that we are more valuable if we look right, do right, the right people live in our neighborhood, that we know the right people, that we live in the right neighborhood, that we're more talented, that we have the right job or the perfect business. We don't have to believe that we're more valuable by those things. Those are tangible things. Not when God has already told us that he loves us unconditionally. He never rejects us as long as we believe in him. We are to love other people, not compete with them. That's what the world is dealing with right now. Competition. And I said it a few months ago, and I stand behind it. I hate competitions. I really do. Because it's just a way to make someone else feel like they're not better. It's a way to make a person feel like they're not meeting the mark. The world says that we should strive to get to the top. But God says that the first will be last and the last will be first. So you're never behind. You're right where you're supposed to be. So rest in that. I ended this week just, really at the point of, considering not having all the answers isn't what I need the most. It really isn't. You just need to trust. And most of all, you just need to trust God and trust that he's got your back. He's never going to leave you. He's never going to forsake you. Life will not be without challenges, guys. It will not be without challenges, but please rest assured that you will not be without solutions. I can't recall how many challenging situations that I've been placed in that God didn't send a solution. This week, I just, I ended the week just thinking about challenges and authenticity, and it was deep. Because when it came to authenticity, and we've all heard that word, but I wanted to get to the root of what it really was. Authenticity is just learning to be real. And the world is struggling with this one right now. Because being authentic requires that you be genuine and real, not a pretender. To have a pure heart and not pretending to be, one way with certain people, and with other people, you're a completely another. Being authentic is just sometimes for some people a way for them to try to impress people, fit in, or be accepted. And I don't want to be there. Where I'm at in my life, I want to be myself. I want people to love and like me for me. And I don't want to have to put on a show in order for others to like me. I'm telling y'all, it was a good week. I got a chance to throw on my earrings that I was able to get from the Black Expo. Again, I told you I was down there picking up treats, but the earrings are so cool because I love anything with a motivational phrase on it. And these state, it's not how good you are, it's how good you want to be. And so we have to put things in our face to constantly remind ourselves that it's not where we're at. It's not how we finish. It's how we start. When we talk about being authentic, we really want to be ourselves. I know there are so many things out here to mimic, so many things that we can try to pretend to be. That's why I am done with that whole fake it till you make it. That is to me, the biggest lie, because it stresses you out to try to put on some act to be something that you're not yet. People will respect you for keeping it real. I know a lot of times when I'm watching people's bios or looking at people's bios or looking at the biography, the documentaries of their life, I think it is the portion of them keeping it real and being transparent about what they went through to get to where they got to. It's just, that warms me the most. And so being authentic, and we all have room to practice that. Again, y'all, it was a good week. I know if you're like me, you're probably grateful for the disconnect, because these are those moments where we can stop, reflect, and see what we can do better. If you're looking for the guys, we will be at Garfield Park Farmers Market tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So come on out, check us out. We've always got barbecue treats. Remember, you can check out our page. We are opening up additional channels where you can get the sauce. Do something this disconnect that your future self will thank you for, even if it's just getting some rest. Remember, if you're out and about, please let your light shine. I don't care how anyone feels about it, because your transparency is leading to so many others being transformed. I know I was out on yesterday. I had stopped at Macy's to pick up an order, and the young lady that I was working with, she was having a pretty frustrating day. And before I got a chance to leave, I made sure that I shined my light. I made sure that I encouraged her heart to let her know that everything is going to be all right. And that's what we're here for, guys. We're here to make others feel like that you are not doing life alone, and that we see you, and that I see you. And if I see you, you know, if I see you, I'm going to give you a big hug. But anywho, I hope you all have an amazing weekend. This has been your girl 7. And as always, I will see you soon.